This episode of Twin Speaks contains spoilers.
First listen of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo. You got one name in. My tender dove.
Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie. Directed and written by Quentin Tarantino. I'm your co-host, Pat. You can find me on Twitter at KidCombo. And we are also joined today by frequent guest. You can find her on Instagram at States of Georgia. It's Georgia.
Hello.
And today we are also joined by a second guest and friend of the show. It's Holly.
Yahoo! Oh. Andrew is coming later.
Or was he already here?
He's like
he's an apparition.
Yeah. Normally he would be going like, huh, huh.
Whoa, Andrew's here.
Yeah. Or he'd be like making fun of Pat or making a wiener joke. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it doesn't take very long.
We can fill in his shtick for him.
Oh, shtick. Wiener joke. Yep. Yeah. There it is.
Boom, baby. Okay, you may continue.
I don't know. Do you have any more anecdotes?
Are we talking about Andrew's wiener jokes still?
Yeah, Andrew mentions wieners in almost every podcast episode. Yeah, he talks about
We should name them Dr. Sausage.
Dr. Sausage.
Or Dr. Sausage.
Monsieur
Sausage.
Monsieur Sausage. I'm sure he'll love that.
Yes.
He's not going to listen to this, though. He's going to, like, only fast forward to the part that he's in.
Joke's on him.
Yeah.
Sausage. That's how he falls asleep every night. He just listens to himself.
Yeah, his own voice.
Just cuts a clip and just listens to him on loop.
Oh, no, it's just like a supercut of all of his jokes on all of the podcast episodes. Almost 40. And, yeah, he just falls asleep to himself.
That's beautiful.
Stroking his own cheek. His own buttocks.
I whisper sweet nothings to myself each
night. It's like people listen to affirmations or like, read affirmations.
Like,
and just listens to his own
thing?
jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like self-help stuff.
Yeah, they'll be like I am strong. Yeah. I am brave. And it's Andrew just listening to his own jokes.
Him telling
it's like the opposite of what I would do.
Himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, do you guys want to talk about some news first?
Sure.
Yeah.
There's a new trailer the first trailer for Honey Boy starring Shia LaBeouf, Lucas Hedges, FKA Twigs, and Noah Jupe.
It's pronounced
I
LaBeouf.
love that FKA Twigs is in this movie.
Yeah, right?
She's cool.
Who?
She's really cool.
FKA Twigs. She's
formerly known as.
Yeah.
So this is the movie
based...
based...
good music.
Yeah.
That I think you would actually like.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
She's great. So this is the movie that he wrote while in rehab.
Oh.
And it's based on his life. Did you get that sort of feeling from the trailer?
Yeah.
So he plays his dad, and then Lucas Hedges plays
Teenage him,
and then that other kid plays younger him, Even Stevens him.
I got the fruit fly.
Oh my god! Well done.
Listen on for more about the fruit fly.
That's some nice sizzle.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's like such a weird. I mean, obviously, it's very stylized and very like almost feels like quite ethereal. The trailer, at least.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I definitely got that feeling too.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I wonder what that says about how he perceives his own upbringing and his own kind of like rise to stardom. And even Stevens too. Like,
Are you about to slag off Even Stevens?
No, not at all. I just mean Even Stevens, like. Of any show.
I hope that's in it a bit because I feel like that's a major part of his him as like just an actor / character.
Well, you think back to Even Stevens sort of and he was like wacky kooky kid, and now he's like
very serious artist.
Very serious.
Like troubled kind of like that very like pastiche of like a troubled artist kind of thing.
Totally.
Now. Yeah,
it's just not where you ever imagined like Shia LaBeouf.
No.
I thought this looked really good though.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks really like cool and stylized and really like interesting. I don't know if it's something I'm gonna like seek out to watch, but
I don't know.
But I can't get over, and maybe this is the makeup artist in me, but oh my god, those prosthetics! I can't unsee them as prosthetics. It like takes me out of it.
Hair and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the hair was.
And like if I feel aware of it the entire time, it bothers me.
Yeah, that's so true. Unless you like totally transform a person to the point where they're unrecognizable and they happen to have
unless it's like
prosthetics
real hair.
on, like and then you're like, okay, I know that this is
like Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Looper.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Total transformation.
Yeah. You know
what? How do we make him look like Bruce Willis? Yeah, fuck, I don't know.
But they go so far that you like kind of don't notice all of it because there's so much of it.
Yeah.
Versus like changing one very distinct thing on a character, like a hairline, and then being like, I'm only staring at his hairline the entire time.
Or his nose. It was his nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's the weird thing.
So
it's like that movie Penelope. Did you guys ever see that movie?
Yes,
with Christina Ricci.
Yeah,
I think it is, and she has like a pig nose in the movie. I don't think I ever watched the movie, but I remember seeing the trailers for it on like an old VHS.
I have no idea what movie that is. That's crazy.
I don't think it was worth watching, but I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, but she has this like upright pig nose the entire time, and like that, and while like the pig nose. I don't know, should I be calling it a pig nose? Does that mean?
It was kind of like...
that's literally the point of it. It's like a snout, kind of.
The whole point of the movie was that it was like an upscale Shallow Hal.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But it's like you...
Like an artsy version
of because you know it's fake. Like, you just stare at it the entire time, and you're like, oh my god, like, I know this movie's supposed to be about this nose, but, like, I really shouldn't be fixating on the nose as much as I am.
Okay, but...
That's the first time Shallow Hal has ever been brought up.
I love Shallow Hal. Well, no, it's a horrible movie, but like...
It's a terrible movie.
But like, memories of watching it when it was socially acceptable to make a movie like that, you know? Like, crazy.
That's definitely like a like, what do you call that? A period in time.
Yeah, never again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Will anyone get away with that?
If someone released that movie now, anyone that was slightly on the left would shit their pants.
Yeah.
What's that movie, LaQuisha? Have you seen that?
No.
It's the guy, and he like becomes like a famous like shock jockey DJ by impersonating a black woman.
Yeah, I mean the name LaQuisha was a bit dodged to begin.
So it's like a white guy, and he's like impersonating a black woman, and like that's the movie, and like the guy who plays the person like wrote and directed the movie.
Oh, jeez.
And he was getting like shit on Twitter and stuff, and then he released it early because nobody wanted anything to do with it.
Jeez.
Oh my god. Okay, I really have to digress for 1 second though, because when we were talking
we've already digressed so much. We're like 10 minutes in.
That's literally the point of all of this.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch the trailer for the new Cats?
Oh, okay. Pat and I watched actually this really interesting like video about
it was that CGI
the cat
one.
CGI.
I think that's what I saw too, actually, yeah.
And talking about how, like, it does that thing. What's that?
Uncanny Valley.
Uncanny Valley, where it's, like, human, but like
not. Your brain is telling you that there's something weird about it, but you can't figure out what it is.
Well, it's, like, literally, like, cat features on human faces. It's fucked up. Give them cat faces.
Hate it so much.
Yeah, it's creepy.
I won't be able to watch that movie, and it just bothers me, because I'm like... Just make them people instead of really, really shitty looking cats.
I know.
What is the point? It's like, oh my god, they're so talented and they look kind of like a cat. Like, what?
But they don't, like, at least with, like, live versions of cats, like, it's a person dressed like a cat.
Yeah. Yes.
This is, like, a cat.
What? Yeah.
That fucked a human.
Yeah, because the tail, like, comes out of their asshole.
I can't get
and
past
sometimes
the fact
they're wearing
that you are
clothes.
Clearly an animal molester, you fucking monster.
And some of them are wearing clothes, and it's like, but others aren't wearing clothes. Are those ones naked?
Yeah, and then the ones where they're like wearing the fur coats, and it's like, what fur is that?
Yeah, it's like, did you skin another cat and like wear its fur?
Why
like,
are you wearing your own flesh?
This is the thing. It's
weirdo?
Like, we are living in a society in which those questions need to be answered. People like us are going to pose those questions.
Society.
Yeah. And you look at how much you're and you can't just casually toss on a cat fur coat.
No.
And then just assume that no one's going to wonder where that came from.
Like,
I'm sorry.
Was that your dead mother that you made into a coat?
Was that fur that you shed that was made into a coat?
Fur on fur.
Exactly.
Like, that would be so hot.
Like, what if I came to work one day
so hot,
and I was wearing
so
a human skin coat?
Jacket, yeah.
Would you be like, ooh, cute jacket?
Like, no.
Like, take off that human skin jacket, you freak.
Yeah. Like, if you're going to make an animal look so much like a human, the rules of human behavior are going to apply to that quote-unquote animal.
And having a tail just fucking ruins that.
Yeah.
See, I don't understand. Like, I feel like the only logical direction for that would have been just to wear costumes.
Yeah,
like,
or cat-like features, like have ears.
Yeah, because then it sort of becomes like a cuter thing almost. You know what I mean? Like, it's still
not
weird,
cute.
but
They're fucking creepy.
It would have been
but
cute.
This is like super weird.
And all of the people, like Jason Derulo.
Jason
horrifying.
Oh god,
Judy
yeah.
Dench. It is Judy Dench, right?
Judy Dench is weird.
Horrifying.
To do that to Judy Dench is like...
It's blasphemous.
It's blasphemous.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Ugh. A classy woman that you just degraded.
And also, Cats is not a good musical.
I
don't know.
I hate all
musicals. Yeah, that was like
I'm
the thing. Everybody's like, Cats wasn't even like the good one.
Yeah.
Why make it out of this one?
Everyone makes jokes about cats, like,
it's
all
never
the
been
time.
Good. Yeah.
Make like a live action fucking Wicked or something like that. I don't know.
Also, I just have to say, I feel like Lord of the Rings back in, I don't even know what it was, 1999. When did Lord of the Rings come out?
Oh my god, was
1999.
it that long ago?
No, 1998 to 2001, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Their CGI was better than Cats.
Jesus, that was so long ago. I can't believe that.
Yeah. I mean, the set looks really nice.
Oh,
that
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
It's weird that all of these, like, human-cat hybrids are tiny. Like, it really is fucking creepy. Like, I can't imagine, like, waking up and having, like, one of them, like, pawing at your chest.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? With, like, their human face. Ugh.
Oh, God, that's such a horrible
I feel like I would kill it on impulse. Because I wouldn't know what to do. I would just be like, yeah, it's like snap its neck or something. That sounds horrible. I do not abuse animals, but, like...
Yeah.
Holy
it's not an
shit,
animal,
like,
though.
It's not an animal. That's the
if
point.
I saw it in real life, at the size and the scale that they make it in that trailer, like, oh my god, you better believe I'm, like, chasing that thing out of my house.
So Honey Boy has 100% at 39 reviews and comes out November 8th. I wanted to close the loop on that one.
Wow.
I forgot what we were talking about.
100% though, on 39 reviews.
I can't believe I just talked about killing a...
Snapping its neck.
That
like
sounds really dark.
Style.
I'm not...
I was with you there.
That sounds dark, but I mean, you guys know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like when you see a bug, you just like...
Animals.
You just... No!
Okay, do you guys want to talk about the next one?
Yes.
The Irishman.
Did not understand that trailer.
Yeah,
no.
This was a trailer where it's like it gave you nothing except for these are the people in the movie and enjoy.
Yeah.
And honestly, like when we were watching it, the screen was tilted too far back, so I couldn't actually see any of the actors' faces. But I was so disinterested that I was like, I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah, you paused it before it ended.
I did feel like that trailer felt like a big old jerk off.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
It's just like most trailers give you too much. That trailer, I was like,
it didn't give you enough, but then it was like kind of like almost throwing it in your face that it was like, oh yeah, you'll love this.
But I
even though it gave you nothing.
Suspect that might actually be the movie. Like maybe they gave me exactly as much plot as was actually.
I feel like the movie is going to be one of those things where it's one of those things you have to pause and be like, okay, can we just discuss what's going on, please? Because I do not understand.
Because it's coming out on Netflix.
So many white men.
Yeah.
So many political issues.
So it's about the story of Frank Sheeran, a mob hitman and World War II vet who developed his skills during the service in Italy. So I think that would be Robert De Niro, I guess.
I think it's
Frank?
actually pronounced Ed Sheeran. And he's from Galway.
I love that you know he's from Galway, too.
Only because I went to Galway.
Well,
maybe he's not from Galway.
Ed Sheeran
maybe he just sings Galway Girl.
Comes in the airport. Wow, I can sense him. So now he's an old man, and he reflects on the events that defined his career as a hitman particularly the role he played in the disappearance of labor leader Jimmy Hoffa. So that was who he was talking to on the phone, I think, right?
I can't even remember a phone in the
Yeah, I remember.
Was there phones back then?
His longtime friend and his involvement in the Buffalino crime family. Buffalino. So that comes out September 27th on Netflix. It's written by the guy who did Moneyball, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and American Gangster.
Isn't it Martin Scorsese?
Those are actually some really good movies.
Yeah,
Martin
he's directing
Scorsese,
it. Yeah, he's directing it, but the guy who wrote it.
I really enjoyed all of those movies, but I have a feeling I would not enjoy this.
Yeah.
Wait. Did you say Gangster #1?
American Gangster.
Oh. Yeah, no, I got that totally wrong.
I think that's the one with Russell Crowe. American Gangster. And Denzel Washington.
And Ryan Gosling?
I don't remember that at all.
Ryan Gosling? No, I don't think so.
And Rachel McAdams.
Are we talking about The Notebook?
I wrote you 365 letters.
Yeah, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci. Yeah, it's like a massive, like, Martin Scorsese jerk-off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I mean, I'm sure my dad will like it.
I'll pass.
Burn. I'm sorry.
Burn, Dad.
Okay, I need to figure out what movie. Gangster Squad. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, right.
Ryan Gosling was in Gangster Squad.
That's right. That was a good movie. I like that movie. What was the other one that we were going to talk about? Oh, Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
So the new Taika Waititi movie.
I love Taika Waititi.
I love him.
We circle jerk Taika Waititi on this podcast so much.
But he deserves every moment.
So it stars Taika Waititi as Hitler, or imaginary Hitler, I guess. Rebel Wilson, Stephen Merchant, and Scarlett Johansson. Written, directed by Taika Waititi.
Stephen Merchant?
Yeah, he was in it. I didn't see him in the trailer, I don't think. So it's during the Second World War. Lonely German boy Jojo Rabbit Belzer has his worldview turned upside down when he discovers that his single mother, Rosie, Scarlett Johansson, is hiding a young Jewish girl in their attic, aided only by his imaginary friend in the form of an idiotic version of Adolf Hitler. Jojo must confront his blind nationalism.
I mean, I didn't quite get that plot from the trailer.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I just figured he had like an imaginary friend.
I'm way more interested in the movie now. I mean, the trailer looked amazing, but like hearing that plot, I'm like, okay, that sounds cool.
So you said something interesting about it looking like
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson, and it absolutely does. Like, I didn't get that on the first try or first watch of it, but
I got
watching it with you guys,
Moonrise Kingdom vibes.
Yeah,
very much so.
Doesn't
even
it have, like
how
little
the trailer,
scout outfits too.
Mm-hmm.
That are more like
just how it was like
German
stylized.
youth outfits, but
yeah. It was very stylized because I feel like normally he's hilarious, but not that stylized.
Yeah,
yes.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I mean,
even like
Boy
Hunt for the Wilder
quite...
People. Oh yeah, Boy
was a little bit stylized.
Hunt for the Wilder People was a little bit like that, but I feel like it was a bit more sort of quiet and like this was a little bit more kind of wacky and adventurous looking in its styling.
Definitely, very much so. But yeah, you're right. Boy was a little bit more stylized than I think.
Have you seen Boy?
No, which I'm kind of shocked.
You really like it.
Seen it.
It's
You an egg.
You an egg. It's really good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Have you guys watched the rest of What We Do in the Shadows TV show yet?
No, we watched one episode and then just forgot.
Yeah, we forgot about it.
I still have a few episodes left, but it's so funny.
Have you seen the movie yet?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I watched it multiple times.
Okay, I thought so.
I love that.
It was Maggie that hadn't seen it.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Shout out Maggie.
Shout out.
Maggie does your hair.
At Maggie does your hair. You need a haircut? Maggie does your hair at Hardwood & Co.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, this looked really good.
This will be the movie I want to see the most out of everything this year.
So that's October 18th, so not that far away. This is kind of cool. This was only a teaser too. It was only like a minute or so.
I feel like only he could make me like Hitler jokes, you know? Like most people I'd be like, ugh.
Yeah.
Lame.
But seeing it like it'll be interesting to see how they handle that like in the imagination of a young boy.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it's interesting. It's
like everything he says is gold.
Yeah.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
I love that part in Hunt for the Wilder People where he's like, and what's behind the other door? Diet Coke? What's it say? Coke Zero? No, Jesus.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm
and
looking
then
for that one.
the last trailer that we watched was The Lighthouse with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe.
Was Robert Pattinson?
Yeah.
Didn't you say Willem Dafoe?
I said Willem Dafoe. Yeah, Willem Dafoe.
Now you're just playing up your own quirks on purpose.
I'm leaning in. I'm punching sideways.
Punching yourself.
What did you guys think of this?
Honestly, I couldn't watch the entire trailer. I love Robert Pattinson. I think he's a great actor. This seemed like a movie I would rent as a joke, watch 20 minutes of, and then never want to pick up ever again.
Really?
Kind of.
You weren't into it?
No.
What did you think?
Super hard no for me.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the movies that you and Andrew watched.
Yeah.
Or you watch by yourself.
I think this was like a very inaccessible, like,
yes.
You have to sort of be... it's like, it was definitely not like a movie for...
It looks
beautiful. It would be a movie for like a handful of people.
Yeah, it looks beautiful, but it's not really up my alley.
It's directed by the guy who did The Witch.
And this is the thing.
Any of you guys see that?
No.
I haven't seen that either.
I don't want to pretend like this movie is up my alley either.
Yeah.
I feel like that's also a thing where it's like, oh, it's so dark and complicated and there's going to be some mysterious twist at the end, but it's just like, I want something entertaining, and to me, this does not look entertaining.
I just instantly get angry when I see a movie that looks like it's been made to win an Oscar, and that movie looks like it was made for
Big
that.
time.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Major Oscar vibe.
It's like, what if we made it black and white? Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, that'll work.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. What if there were long, brooding silences? Definitely, write that down.
We only want violin music the entire time.
So
yes.
it was
poorly
filmed
played violin music.
Or sound like a poor child wrote this music.
Okay.
Can you find a poor child to write some music for us?
Have him stand at the top of the stairs and then push him down with the violin.
I'd like to
Record
see
that.
a tear come out of his eye.
Yeah. Take that tear, drink it. That's the spirit of the film.
Drink it and let that fuel you
Yeah.
further.
It was filmed in Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia.
In Yarmouth County.
Yarmouth County.
At Leif Erikson Park.
Leif Erikson.
Can you do a Nova Scotian accent?
No.
Come on.
That's not what I can
It's
do.
like a little bit Irish, right?
I honestly, I hear...
I thought you were doing it there. The way you said I.
No.
You're doing one. Are you
No,
rocking
I'm
it?
awful at
But
accents.
people
I'm
often think
notoriously
that
bad
Pat
at
and
them.
Andrew are from
Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
I've never heard that. People
Oh.
haven't said that to my face.
People have definitely said that to Andrew.
Really?
And I've heard people say that about you.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've never gotten that.
Huh.
That's funny.
Farming boys.
Um,
Anyways, yeah.
This premiered at Cannes Film Festival, and it's already got reviews out. There's 52 reviews. Do you want to guess what it's got? Just a wild guess.
65.
I'm going to say higher than that. I think it's going to be like 90.
98. That's crazy. 52 reviews on a extremely stylized movie.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Wait, it's making me think, probably just because it's black and white, but it's making me think of The Artist, you know?
Oh,
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
yeah, right.
Also the Oscar vibes.
Yes,
Exactly.
that was a major.
That felt like it was made for the Oscars, like Tree of Life.
Okay, there's only 2 pieces of news left. One of them, Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach set to write the script for the Barbie feature film for Mattel. Mattel has a film division.
Greta Gerwig is going to write that movie?
Yeah.
Who's
I'd go
that?
see it. Greta Gerwig. She
Lady
directed and wrote Lady Bird. Did she write it?
Yeah.
She also did Frances Ha
With Noah Baumbach.
with Noah Baumbach.
Yeah. They're married, aren't they? I think so.
know.
No, they're not.
She's kind of like, what's a good way to describe Greta Gerwig?
Have you seen Lady Bird?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's surprising.
Oh, you would like it. Although,
Is that, who's in that again? Sorry, who
it's
is
Saoirse
Saoirse
Ronan.
Saoirse.
Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah, I would say Sasha.
Sasha Ronan.
I know that name. I just can't think.
She's the Irish actress who was in Atonement and.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
What's that one where she's the bride to the Brooklyn guy? Brooklyn. Is that what it's called?
She's done so many great
I liked
movies.
Brooklyn. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that redheaded guy in Brooklyn. Were we just talking about this? He's in About Time.
Oh yeah, what is his name? He was in a trailer when we went to go see
Yes.
this movie.
That's why we were talking about this.
Yeah. What was his name?
Weasley.
Donald Gleason.
Donald Gleason, yeah.
He's
I love him. He's great.
Bill Weasley.
Yeah.
Is he Bill?
Yeah.
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 He's great.
So do you want to? Who would you cast as Barbie? They've already casted someone.
Oh my gosh, this is such a good
Okay,
question.
tell
I gotta
me,
get this right.
does she look like Barbie? Of like our traditional.
No, I just
idea?
no. You just have to
Kinda,
come up with
yeah.
somebody that you actually think would make
Okay,
perfect Barbie.
who would I think would make
But
a perfect Barbie?
knowing Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach. Like, knowing that sort of style of that movie, so it's like a little bit quirky, but like sort of a little bit more real than I think like Barbie would be.
Why can't I remember the names of any actresses right now?
I know. And all I can think about right now is Margot Robbie.
I know.
That's who it is.
Is it?
No way.
Yeah, that's who got cast as Barbie.
I mean, she's like a physical match for sure, but not who I expected.
In 2014, it was announced that Mattel would be partnering with Sony for the movie. When
2014.
That's when they announced that they were going to be doing this movie. The first person attached to star was Amy Schumer to star as Barbie.
What?
And then Anne Hathaway, because Amy Schumer had to drop out. And then Anne Hathaway stepped in, and then the rights returned to Mattel.
Oh my god.
So the toy company, and they casted Margot Robbie.
Okay, but how can you go from Amy Schumer to Margot Robbie?
Yeah.
Those are different universes.
They are.
Yeah,
They're very
that's
different.
pretty wild.
Well, very different, like, acting styles, and also, like, Amy Schumer basically plays the same character,
So,
i.e.,
do you think
kind
it
of
would
like
be...
a version of herself in most of her films.
Oh, yeah.
So
She's Lena Dunham.
Whoever, what was her name again? I forgot what her name is now. Girls.
Lena Dunham.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Completely forgot.
Yeah.
So do you think it was like more satire then if they casted Amy Schumer?
I'm assuming.
Like they were going maybe more funny than...
Well, yeah, because, I mean, Amy Schumer, if
that's,
anything...
That's pretty drastically different.
I mean, I would have probably have liked a little more, like, diversity in terms of the casting. Although, obviously, like, we, typically think of Barbie as, like, thin, blonde hair.
Yeah.
More traditionally, quote-unquote, beautiful. I would have liked something a little different, personally. Like, not that I love Margot Robbie, but...
Opening yourself up to a Beauty and the Beast type critique where everyone's like... I feel like that movie was so polarized and people were so annoyed about the cast in that.
Because that was Emma Watson, right?
Yeah, but the fact that the whole like having gay people and black people in that felt like it stuck out really obviously that they had intentionally done that.
Yeah,
and like how do you cast Barbie and like not make a weird political statement inadvertently?
Yeah, that's true.
There's no like date on when that's coming out, but I'm assuming that next year or two, probably 2020. And then the last bit of news, Damien Chazelle, who did La La Land, his next film will be an old Hollywood period piece titled Babylon. He's already written the script with Emma Stone apparently committing to co-star. And then according to Deadline.com, Brad Pitt is also announced to likely commit to being the co-lead with Emma Stone. So that's pretty crazy. It's like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is an old Hollywood period piece, and then now he's doing one with Brad Pitt as well.
Yeah.
And David Fincher is also doing one. So there's like 3 different... What?
I love how you don't say also, you say alt-so. It's one of my favorite things about you.
And also, alt-so, if we're getting on this, cast is past tense of cast.
Cast, yeah. Cast? Oh, yeah, I said casted, didn't I? I was like, yeah, I know that.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah, so there's Damien Chazelle's new movie. Apparently he's already written the script. He's going to be directing, and they're just finalizing actors for it.
They're finalizing the acting.
Yeah. And then, but David Fincher, he's directing an old Hollywood period piece in black and white as well, titled Mank.
What?
It's a script written by his dad.
Oh, interesting.
His dad passed away in 2004, I think. And he's had the script since then. And it's about the man who shared the best original screenplay script for Citizen Kane with Orson Welles. And then Gary Oldman is set to star as Herman J. Mankiewicz. Mank. One of the best known and best paid screenwriters in early Hollywood. Who also clashed loudly with Orson Welles over the credits of the seminal drama Citizen Kane. It's kind of interesting. That's the guy who the movie's about, wrote Wizard of Oz, Man of the World, Dinner at 8, Pride of the Yankees, and the St. Louis, or the Pride of St. Louis as well. Wizard of Oz. So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of cool that it's like the script written by his dad, and then he's finally...
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Making the film. I guess there was like a whole bunch of other people attached to it, but nobody wanted to make a black and white movie.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's it for news.
Should we move on to the feature film?
Should we talk about the movie now?
Come on down to Finger Doors.
Okay, wait, I accidentally said where Maggie works. Should probably cut that out.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, I don't want to get her killed.
This is all the great stuff.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and Margot Robbie. Directed and written by Quentin Tarantino. The film is about a faded television actor and his stunt double strive to achieve fame and success in the film industry during the final years of Hollywood's golden age in 1969 Los Angeles.
Are fruit flies nocturnal?
I don't know. Yes.
That was far too confident for something you know nothing about.
What if I just said, fuck yeah?
Hell yeah, brother. Gonna wake up in the morning, gonna be 50 in there.
So what did you guys think of the movie?
It feels weird doing it backwards.
We're not doing it backwards. What are you talking about?
We're doing it the exact same order that we always do.
Oh, right.
There's an illusion here.
Why is everyone looking at me?
Because he asked you a question. And you're talking.
I said, what does everybody think of the movie?
Oh, then you look directly at you.
I really enjoyed it. Sure, it was almost 3 hours long, but...
It's too long.
Do you think it was too long?
It felt long.
Did
I don't know if it's
were you
too long,
like?
though.
Did you feel bored throughout it? Like, okay,
No,
when is this movie gonna end?
that's
I
true.
know. That's like me too. Like, I realized that a lot of time was passing, but at the same time, I was still really interested in what was going on. I will say the only scenes that I wasn't invested too much in were when they were doing, like Rick Dalton's Western scene. I liked
some
it.
Of the best stuff too.
But I think like part of it was a little bit too much in the sense that like we weren't ever going to, like we were getting fed a storyline that we were never going to see the end to, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
it served its purpose, but it seemed like a little heavy-handed for me.
Oh, I see. So you think like they needed to show the Western stuff because it led to him going to Italy, to him then coming back.
Yeah.
And then to him.
And you just,
like,
it's good.
dealing with
it was good character development in the sense that, like, you know, that scene where he's trashing his trailer and he's like, I'm gonna quit drinking, and then starts drinking at his flask, and throws it. Like, that was amazing acting, and like that entire scene and seeing how he's like struggling as an actor to like prove himself, I think was all amazing. I just wish they'd cut those scenes like a little shorter, because you're just sitting there watching it being like, this is great, but this is a plot within the plot of the movie that I'm watching, and it's not something that I'm I'm going to let myself get too invested in because I'm never going to know what happens in this like fictional Western that fictional Rick Dalton is filming.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
I feel like it meant more to me after Andrew told us after the movie that it was about Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
Like I didn't care as much, and then you were like, oh, it was all about like Burt Reynolds and Burt Reynolds'
it's loosely based off of him and his stunt double.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, so he was like, yeah, so it becomes like more of a true story, I guess, where it's like him.
It doesn't because he never does westerns. So like I think
he did. There's like a western or whatever that he was in, but it's like him trying to prove himself as an actor that he can act, I guess.
Yeah, it was it was the like effect of those scenes that I really liked.
Yeah, like on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so good.
But I just felt like because didn't feel like the plot of the movie itself was getting really pushed forward that much. It was more so for character development. I kind of just found those parts like a little bit.
It was just also like
lengthy, but
it always felt like it was Quentin Tarantino like jerking off to how much he loves film, and he's like, "Yeah, I love cinema so much.
I'm gonna do cinema inside of cinema." yeah. Inside, like I don't know, like a historical fiction that I like fucked with, you know?
Yeah.
He's a freaky guy.
Well, and I think that's my issue with this is it was like I read a couple interviews and he was like talking about how much this is like a love letter to Hollywood in like the 60s and stuff.
Which it is.
It is, but in like a weird I think it was in a weirder way than I was expecting it to be.
I feel
like it's like, oh, it's a love letter to Hollywood, but then it's like about Sharon Tate getting brutally murdered, but then she didn't. It's like an alternative universe kind of stuff.
So that's why I think they can get away with it.
Yes, and
I feel like if it was an homage to Hollywood in the 60s and 70s, they only touched like the tip of the iceberg. Like, yeah, in terms of like the mood and kind of like theme of the entire movie, like they nailed it on the head. I feel like everything was like you were definitely transported in time, I think anyways, like as soon as the opening scene happened. But it was more so like it's an interesting story to focus on if that's the claim about the movie, is that it's like a love letter about Hollywood.
So I just watched Inglourious Basterds last night.
You've never seen it before?
No, I have. but I watched it again.
You just
But it's very similar.
It's like it is almost identical in like the way that it's laid out. Like, okay, this is the way like they set it up the exact same way, where it's like the beginning three quarters of it is like the exact same. Like that's history, and then the last quarter, like they kill Hitler. Yeah,
so in a very similar scene to the Nazi flamethrower scene from Rick Dalton, which is like kind of
because they even like pull back
a nod to that. Yeah. Well,
but it's like it's laid out the exact same way. They're like, oh yeah, this is all the same, but then this part is what's going to be different, and that's the exact same thing in this.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is the same. They set it up to make you think it's going to be.
Keep hitting that plant.
Keep hitting it.
Yeah, you hit it like 3 times. You like
money. It knows why it's getting slapped. But yeah, it's like laid out the exact same way.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, well, not at the beginning, at the end of the movie, I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is so weird. You're like, you see the murder, like the murderers, the gang, like kind of go into Rick's house, and then you're like, oh, he's gonna go to Sharon's house next. And because that never happens, I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy. And then you remember, like, whose movie it is, and then
same.
You know?
You just like expect it's gonna happen the entire time, and then when it doesn't, you're like, oh fuck.
But then it's like you remember Inglourious Basterds, and you're like, Tarantino has no problem changing history for one of his movies, so
just to
obviously
make it more interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
And it did.
And
like,
that's
I
the thing,
say that
though.
too. Like it did work.
Like and because Pat and I have talked about this when we did the Ted Bundy movie, and I feel like we talked about it a couple times, where it's like, how do you tell a story when your audience already knows the end?
Exactly.
And like Tarantino fucks with that in his movies because he changes the end. He totally fucks with your expectations and, makes a more, not necessarily more interesting story, but one that we haven't heard before a million times. Everyone knows the Sharon Tate murder.
Like somebody that had actually been touched by, like, somebody's got to be pissed off about that ending. Like,
oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, because they go into it like, I can't believe this. Like, it's finally happening. Like, they're doing like a movie about.
But they did a movie about it.
Aunt or some shit or
Well, and
whatever,
one of the ladies that got killed, who actually got killed,
yeah,
was like the heir to the Folgers coffee.
Folgers.
Yeah.
Folger.
Yeah.
Like that.
Fortune,
She was like the
Yeah.
granddaughter or something, and she was the one that got killed, and she was in this movie.
But she survives because
But she
they
survives
never
in
make
this
it to
movie,
that
yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting too. It's like I wonder what that family thinks. I mean,
Yeah.
she's not really represented that.
Do you think they would care though?
Indifferently,
Like
I guess.
she has almost
just,
no
like,
lines.
in the movie. Yeah.
She's just kind of shown from afar. She's narrated over.
Yeah,
most
she's
of that
not-
time.
I mean,
She's not
I just
like-
think we all need to go back to the fact that you just said Folgers.
You can tell what kind of coffee
Folgers
we
in
don't
your
drink in this
cup.
house.
Fuck Folgers.
You drink mixed
The
milk
best
house.
part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Folgers sounds
It's a
like
classic.
It's made with rocks.
yeah. Yeah, it's fake coffee. That's
Coffee like construction workers.
no, it's
who,
like when you go to the
make
dollar
concrete.
store and they have like all of those fake off-brand
off-
versions of
Folgers.
actual milk.
It's not Quaker. It's like Quaker. Have you seen the trailer for Hobbs and Shaw where it's The Rock eating coffee?
No.
He's eating Folgers.
Or it's like when you go to the cereal aisle and like instead of Cheerios they have like Oreos and
Yeah.
O's.
yeah,
It's
just
And they're in a
O's.
clear bag. it's like a grocery bag.
grocery
that
bag.
someone
No,
built
It's
Cheerios
the bag,
on.
but they haven't put it in the box, so it's just like the
No, I was
plasticky
making a
bit.
joke.
And it's
telling
for
my
sure
joke.
yellow because
Yeah.
everything
It's like a
off-brand
stick.
is yellow.
Yeah. It's yellow with some like really shite like graphic design
Oh,
box.
Comic Sans MS.
Yeah, Comic Sans.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
it is.
And it's off center.
Yeah.
So it just says O's in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
No, but it's cut off by the seam.
Pat,
The
you
spike from you laughing.
Yeah, I know.
he's always
I
the
was
most
watching them.
exuberant.
Yeah.
You made a good point about the ending of the movie though.
Good for you, Pat.
When we were driving home, that I
editing
didn't
that
want to forget about the gate.
Oh yeah, right.
So why don't you touch on that? Because I'm not going to
Oh.
steal your thunder.
Well, because like they talk about him trying to like get into Hollywood, and they like Rick Dalton's character makes a big deal about Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski being his
Neighbors. That
And he's
scene
like,
where they
"Oh, this
drive
is
up,
my,
and he's like, "Oh, I've never seen them before."
yeah, and he's like makes a big deal about it being his like chance to get into big movies and stuff like that.
yeah.
And then all that stuff happens, and then the whatever the kid's name is. Well, I guess he's not a kid, but like Sharon Tate's ex.
Yeah, I don't remember. What
JJ?
Yeah, something like that.
No, let me just take a look.
Because he comes down from like the hill, but the way that it's like framed, it's like he
Jay
Rick-
Sebring.
Yeah, right. Would you say JJ?
That's
Who
what
said
you
JJ?
said.
I said JJ.
Oh yeah.
Well,
He's like Rick Dalton's like standing at the bottom of the hill, and then he's standing sort of on the other side of that gate.
Yeah.
And they sort of make a big deal about like them. That's like the time that they actually talk. It's sort of like after all of this stuff has happened. It's like the first time that they introduce each other, or they're introduced to each other. And then she's like speaking over the thing, and then they like the gates open, and then he like walks up the hill, and like that's how the movie ends. So it's very much like him. It was like very
Symbolic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like where he's finally being welcomed in the like
Yeah.
inner
the
circle.
Hollywood.
Like the
inner
gates
circle.
are
Yeah.
literally opening for him.
Yeah.
To me, and the fact that Sharon Tate over the intercom is like, "Oh my gosh, Rick Dalton! Like, we so wanted to meet you," and
It's also
runs
interesting
over
that
and
it's
like
just a
hugs
voice,
him.
too.
And
It's not even like her.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like this disembodied voice.
Yeah. Did you see the thing with Bruce Lee's like family
Yeah.
that are like upset about how he's portrayed?
Yeah.
So I saw.
I was
that,
like, I wouldn't take
that's
that too
shitty.
seriously, but
No, because it's what's his face's imagination. It's Cliff Booth's imagination. Like he's imagining what would happen if he went there. So he's like, oh yeah, like Bruce Lee would be like, oh yeah, he'd be all macho and stuff, and then he would try and fight me and I'd kick his ass. It's not
he-
real. Like,
wait,
it
I
didn't
thought
happen.
that actually did happen.
Well, yeah, but he's like standing on the roof.
Oh,
and he's, like, thinking,
he's
but like,
re-remembering
he's
it.
like-
Yeah.
Was he re-remembering it?
Yeah,
I
because then he
think-
goes. Well, he's like,
No,
he
he
says,
was
like,
like,
there's a
fair,
reason-
fair
Something
enough,
like
yeah.
So there's a reason because Rick is going to that movie set and he's asking Rick if they need a stunt double, and he goes, "Oh no, it's so and so
Yeah.
who's
so then
in
I thought
charge."
that was like.
So then he remembers it because he did go and I think dent.
Oh,
that
I thought
lady's
that was
car?
like
You
him
think it was, like-
imagining if he
Well,
did get
No,
that job.
I definitely
No.
thought that had happened, and that's why he wasn't
Yeah,
allowed
that-
back.
But
Because
I
that's
think-
why they flash forward to been him like on the roof already, being like, yeah, fair enough.
Well, yeah,
That's
but
why.
I think it's both where it's like that actually happened, but he's he's like messing with the facts.
Yeah.
So they didn't
So it's,
actually
like,
like get
playing
in
it
a
out
huge
quite a
like
bit.
crazy fist fight. It was like he's just sort of like embellishing it a little
That's
bit.
kind of what I thought. It's like you
But
embellish
it did
your own
actually
memories.
happen where he like got kicked off the set because he was like fighting Bruce Lee.
Because it looked like he was like whatever. Okay, maybe,
That scene confused me though. I will say, like, that flashback felt a little bit jarring. Like, it didn't. At first, I thought that was actually happening. That he had like gone to the house, fixed the cable.
Yeah, that's why
whatever
I was
at the
like,
front,
I
and
thought
then
for sure
had
it was
gone.
like him imagining it happening.
Yeah, and then had gone back to the set and was waiting in the golf cart for Rick to come out of the trailer.
See,
and
I
then they
liked
flashed
it.
back to him like standing on the roof again, and I was like, oh, okay, so that must have been a flashback, and that's the reason why he didn't go to set with Rick is because, you know, that guy wouldn't let him on the lot or whatever.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, I did find that flashback a bit jarring. It was like a bit.
I kind of
much.
like that, but I feel like that's
It
also
was
partly
very,
because that's just Tarantino to
it was the
like
style,
do it
yeah.
in an odd way.
Yeah, but and I think that like, yeah, kind of speaks to the movie as a whole. Like sort of going back to those, like, more on the nose like movie transitions that no one would necessarily use now. Like, you would never have a character like standing somewhere being like, oh, like looking up to the sky and like thinking
And then
about
little cloud
something.
bubbles come
Yeah,
out,
and
yeah.
then like have a flashback, right? Like, it is
Yeah.
very kind of like unnatural, I guess you would say. So yeah, I liked it.
Do you think this is a less Tarantino type movie?
Wait, Pat, didn't you tweet about Quentin Tarantino?
Quentin Tarantino Turner.
Tino Tarantino Turner.
But yeah, do you think this is like less?
I think so.
I think this is his most accessible.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Except the end.
Except for the end. But that's what I mean.
is,
Like,
very
But I feel like even that was so much more accessible than when I go back and I watch Kill Bill now. I'm like,
well, that's the one I was
God
thinking of. Yeah.
damn, that's a lot of slaves.
Because like
Yeah.
that's, and that happens through the entire movie
Yeah.
too. It's not like one little chunk
Yeah,
of it. It's like
totally.
through the fucking movie.
But I think that's
yeah.
why this was so jarring, was because it's like, normally in a
Because
Tarantino
they
movie,
kinda
there's
lull
violence
you-
everywhere.
yeah.
And they lull you into a false
Yeah.
sense of security. You're
Yeah.
like, you drift to this movie and you're like, this is great. This is so cool. This is so like well shot and beautiful. And then all of a sudden, you just have this woman like burnt to a crisp floating in a pool.
and it's just like the screaming.
It was the screaming.
It's the screaming that kind of jars you the most, I think, because like it's nothing. Through
It
the
was
entire
guttural
movie.
screaming.
But I feel like it was like, I kind of almost preferred it as this cheeky little thing he slipped in at the end instead of just being like 3 hours of
3 hours of like Kill Bill,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
even Inglourious Bastards, where they're like scalping people through the entire movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it was
Yeah,
like
right,
definitely
even,
different, but
yeah. Sorry, go on.
I do think it felt like more realistic.
Yeah.
which-
It's an
because
odd
it
thing
is
to say too.
because the point of the
When-
movie
when
is that
someone
like
gets
it's what
flamethrowed.
no one
Yeah.
expects to have happen. Like with Sharon Tate, like no one expected that to happen. And watching this movie, you know that something like that is going to, but yeah, you get lulled into that false sense of security, and then it kind of comes out of nowhere.
But what did you guys think of the actual screaming,
Oh my
flailing,
god, I
flamethrowy stuff?
couldn't even watch it. Like
In a bad, like you actually didn't like it?
I love.
no,
that
I
scene.
liked it, but I just like
it was just
it was
it's just,
too
like, hard to
much.
watch,
It's so
yeah.
hard to watch.
Yeah.
That scene was so great though. Like when he's like trying to figure out if he's like high enough that it's fake and high enough, or that he's like
Yeah.
not, and he's like, okay, this is real.
Yeah, the acid cigarette like comes back. It's such great foreshadowing. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it here
I actually
conveniently.
was gonna
Saving
forget
it.
about it too, because like it doesn't come back for a
Long time.
Yeah.
And the fact that like they do that Bruce Lee scene too, so that we know, you know, that he's capable of something like that. Like they really build up.
Yeah, true. Yeah, they
His character,
They show him
Brad Pitt's
actually
character.
doing
What
that.
was his name again?
Cliff Booth.
Cliff Booth. Yeah. Which I'm sorry, he stole the movie for me.
Oh,
yeah,
totally.
He's
the
Hands
best
down.
part of
He
that
was
movie.
Yeah.
incredible. Like I love
Yeah.
Leo, but Pat and I
totally
left
agree.
and we were like, it was his movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah, he's so great.
And he has the most character development throughout the entire movie too.
I think the movie does base more around him than
Yeah.
anything. Like it definitely is driven more by Leo's character, because Cliff follows Leo. but,
Leo,
like,
yeah, for
it's
sure.
around whatever Cliff does.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like Leo's character has just like this one desire to be famous, and it makes him naturally a bit more one-dimensional, whereas you don't necessarily know.
Yeah.
With Cliff, because he just
Yeah.
seems so like easygoing, but then when he goes to the like the ranch, and he like comes across.
I
like,
loved that part.
Yeah, legitimately caring about the old guy, and then that comes back to his interaction with the three people that like raid the house.
Yeah.
Also, his quiet confidence in that entire scene when he's going into the house and he's like, maybe I'll just take a look for myself. I'm like, oh, you're so cool. I love you.
Yeah. It was so good. And I love how they fucked with you in that scene too, because you're like, there's gonna be a dead body.
And there's nothing.
Finally, we're deep in this Tarantino movie. There's bound to be a fucking
same. I
dead
was like,
body.
okay,
but
people
then,
are gonna die.
And then it's
the great
like you
part
think it's gonna be some like violent scene, right?
Well, and that's the thing. That the great part of that scene is like they build it, like they have all that intensity, and like they build it up to him going to that house, and then nothing happens.
Nothing happens. Yeah.
But then he like diverts it into him punching the other kid.
Yeah.
So like, they like, oh, okay, well, nothing's happening, and then he comes back down the hill, and it's like someone stabbed it.
And that's kind of the point where you like
then there's
have
like
that
the big thing.
deep breath where you're like, oh, okay, like we're in the clear.
Well, you've been like kind of forced to laugh at yourself as the viewer.
Yeah,
You're like,
idiot. There's
but that's like the best part. Like I love when they fuck with your expectations and are like, you think this is gonna happen because in any other movie, this is what will happen.
Yeah.
But when he like rolls over, you see him moving. I was like, really? Or I thought that maybe
it was gonna be somebody else.
Someone was gonna come like stab him or hurt him in some way. Like,
but that's some like meta stuff. Once you get to the point where you start playing on your own work as a director, you're like, this is what Quentin would do, but Quentin won't do that for you this time.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like,
you don't know Quentin.
Yeah, I really loved the
I like all the driving scenes.
The driving scenes, yeah.
Driving scenes were really cool. It was like sort of a weird like way of breaking it up. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, okay, and then it's just like him driving for like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
it's like it was like chunks of time where it's just like Brad Pitt driving through Hollywood.
But it was cool to see like the landscape and
and
you
I
know
think
how they did, how they
like
made it very like immersive. I feel
exactly.
like.
Yeah.
I read an interview that said they didn't. That's all like original stuff. Like,
cool.
They didn't like build sets for that. They just found parts of Hollywood that were still like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, there's like a theater that he bought that's like in the movie a bit. You know that Heim video? Did you watch that video with me? Oh, apparently it's in the Heim video, the new one.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's weird.
Random.
Because that came out before the movie.
Oh, is that the one that Sharon Tate goes to and watches her own film it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
I think it's like a different one, and it's just like him driving past it or something.
Yeah.
So not the theater that's in the movie, but the theater that you don't see at all.
Yeah, because it's owned. It's actually like owned by Quentin. You know, you do see it, but he drives past it, so you see like the big sign for it. Yeah, it's like in a different way.
What else? What else do we have to talk about?
How do people feel about the hippie chick
Oh yeah,
that gets in the car?
she was too 2019 for me.
Yeah, it was a little much.
I was like, you're too current day hot. I need you to just like.
When she said like, when she
tone it
was
down
like,
a little bit.
offering to like suck his dick, I was like, of course you would say that.
Yeah.
Like I was like
Yeah.
almost annoyed that she
Yeah.
actually said that because I was like, you're gonna say something weird.
But I feel like they redeemed it with the fact that I liked his reaction again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like,
Because he was so,
Yeah.
like
Cliff Booth's not going to jail.
It was very like it was
not
very
for this, anyways.
mindful moment where he was
Yeah.
like, I can see that I could want this, but I can also see what a trap this is.
Yeah.
Like I'm above that.
Yeah, she was too 2019 hot, I think.
Yeah.
You could have selected any of the other girls on that farm.
As long as it wasn't Lena Dunham.
Yeah, when Holly reaches over.
God.
Was that Lena Dunham? And I was like, wait, what? And then she's speaking, and I'm like, I literally said Lena Dunham is Lena Dunham, even when Lena Dunham's pretending not to be Lena Dunham. Like, as soon as she was like, go get Tex. Go right out and get Tex. Get his help.
Oh my God.
I was like, is this
You do a
New
good
York
Lena
City?
Dunham.
Like,
and then Adam Driver.
Yeah, exactly.
Adam! Am I too close to the mic?
Wow! Holy shit!
Fucking spike.
There's some real big spikes on that.
You're welcome, listeners.
Last time George was on the podcast. Last time George drinks on the podcast.
I'm having a beer.
He's had like 3 sips.
Okay, but do people like Lena Dunham or not?
Like, I liked Girls. I understand it was like
Did you like
show,
all of
but I
Girls?
don't like Lena Dunham. I didn't finish it.
I didn't like
that's a
her
blessing.
in this. at all.
No.
That's
No.
the thing,
She
is that,
was
like, she just plays Lena Dunham.
very misplaced.
And I don't think she's a good actor.
Oh, you know what
it
it
just kinda
reminds
took
me
me out of
of?
it a little bit.
It's like in Inception. No, not Inception. How perfect is that? In what Interstellar?
Okay.
When you're like Matt Damon.
Oh no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
and you're like,
forgot.
Matt Damon's a phenomenal actor,
what?
but then Matt Damon shows up, and you're like,
Matt Damon's in Interstellar?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
and you're just like so aware that that's
Yeah.
Matt
Matt Damon.
Damon.
But that's
Yeah.
exactly to your point. We both forgot. That
Yeah.
yeah. Wait. Yeah.
You're
You're
right,
in that
because
movie.
like in that movie, like Casey Affleck's in it, and like Matthew McConaughey, and you have like sort of this pool of actors that are in it, and then you see Matt Damon, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know why
Famous
he's.
fan.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like they could have picked anyone else versus
Like
Dakota
anybody that could
Fanning
act. Oh, she was
in this
great.
movie.
She was so great.
indistinguishable.
blends in, like she does such a good job at like immersing herself in that
I didn't
role
realize
in
it
that
was
scene
her at
where you were
first.
like, oh
Yeah.
fuck, that's Lena Dunham.
Yeah, I even
Very
knew
obviously.
Dakota Fanning was in the movie, and I looked at her like
Yeah.
I was staring right at
Yeah.
her, and I didn't really register
I really
it.
like
Yeah,
that
she was
setup.
great.
She was so great.
Yeah.
That setup of like never showing her face, and then she's just sort of like telling people what to do, and then then he kind of like comes around the chair, and it's just like she's like this in a lazy way.
She doesn't have like a recognizable voice either.
I think she
I think she
does.
does. Yeah.
But I think she
But did
kind
you
of,
know it was her like
No.
when she was talking?
When she's
Yeah.
talking, I didn't realize it. Was
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, I knew it was her as soon as she stood up. But,
But I
like
f-
Oh,
she
no,
blended
that's-
in.
no,
like when she was like talking.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
I didn't realize.
Yeah,
I didn't
no,
realize
no.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
It was like a good little bit of, I think, a testament to her acting, though, that I think of her as kind of a junior actor, but
Yeah.
she seemed like
She's
the
not
big
anymore,
boss
too,
in
yeah.
that scene.
Yeah,
Like,
she definitely like. Yeah.
I love.
it's been a long time since Twilight.
Yeah.
She was Twilight.
Yeah.
Af wouldn't know.
Wait, what? Twilight? What?
Twilight.
Okay, speaking of, I'm sorry, I don't want to talk about Twilight. Yes, I do. No. Pat and I were at Superstore parking lot the other day, and someone had an "I drive like a Cullen" bumper sticker.
Oh yeah, that
And
was
I was-
weird.
I don't know
Shocked.
who that is.
That's incredible because
Was
that means you're trying to say you drive like a
First thing I thought
badass,
was
but
like,
using the worst possible
Yeah,
reference.
I know. I was
Wow.
like, what did I just see? That is a 2009 Relic on the back of that person's car.
Well, it'd
It was
be
like
like
a-
a 2007 like Honda Civic, and it's like 2 years before the movie comes out.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that car has seen it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all based on the book. Like what I imagine they drive like.
Yeah. Is there anything else? Do we want to rate it?
Sure.
Who wants to go first? You go first.
Fuck you. You go first.
George, you go first.
Out of 7?
Yeah.
7 out of 7.
Whoa.
Oh.
I love this movie. I
Yeah.
thought it was amazing. There was literally nothing I disliked about it except Lena Dunham. And she's not worth knocking it down at any point, so.
You know what I didn't like in this though? Timothy Oliphant.
Who's that?
He was the like opposite to Rick Dalton in that cowboy scene.
Oh,
You know where they're like sitting around the
interesting.
table?
I
Yeah.
didn't think he was like all that great.
Why
I think
don't I
maybe it was
remember
more
these
because,
cowboy
like, he
scenes
was so
at
great in
all?
that scene, but like he was okay.
You know the scene where they're like talking about right before he does the
Where
baby
he-
kidnapping?
Oh,
And he
He gets
does,
really
oh, I
pissed
do know
off?
what you're
freak
talking
out
about.
Where he's like he wants them to cut and then he doesn't, and then they don't.
Right.
And then, like yeah.
Yeah. The guy
That's
he's
Timothy
talking to
Oliphant,
is
yeah.
Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah, he just kind of
He was
blended.
just fine. Yeah.
I
But
keep
like
thinking
Luke
it
Perry,
was that super hot guy.
Fuck, I thought Luke Perry was great.
Yeah, he had a little.
That was
cane.
That's
sad.
super hot guy. Speaking of super hot guy, I'm sure you two will be really revved up about how good Brad Pitt's body still is. But seriously,
Brad Pitt
Yeah, he
was-
took his shirt off and I was
what?
like, hello.
It's like
I
you
saw a
are
tweet
not
that was
in your
like, Brad
50s.
Pitt didn't have to take off his shirt in that scene, but he did it for us.
That's so true. There's even a point where I'm like, I know he's taking his shirt off, and you're just waiting for him when he does it.
Yeah, but it's crazy because like he looks like an old man. Like he's getting up
It's just
there,
his
Yeah.
face,
Yeah.
and his like hair is blonde, so it like kind of ages him too because it
Yeah.
just looks so unnatural and it looks like very, very like 60s, 70s, right? Not in terms of age, in terms of like time, but. And then you take your shirt off and you're like, you have the body of a 30-year-old. Like,
Yeah.
how like his face,
There's
he's got
full
those little
six-pack.
wrinkles and like. He's obviously a really handsome guy, but then he takes his shirt off and you're like, did you transplant his head on someone else's
Yeah.
body? Like,
It's
He
like
aged his body.
Jennifer
It's just a
Aniston
Christian
too,
man.
though.
yeah.
How are these people not aging?
I don't know.
That's the thing in Silicon Valley, like the show, is that they all transplant their blood with like virgin blood.
Wait, what? What season?
That's like the last one.
Oh, I didn't go that far.
Well, that happens.
Oh man!
Out of 7, you can do like 6-point blood or whatever.
I'm gonna give it a 6.
6 out of 7. Nice.
Yeah.
Wait, why are you knocking a point?
Because Brad Pitt didn't
I did feel like there were a few bits that got just a smidge dull for me. But yeah, other than that, I thought very well done. Yeah.
Yes.
Andy? 7?
6 out of 7.
6 out of 7.
6.5 out of 7.
6.343.
No,
6.132579.
Yeah.
Why are you talking?
Half a point.
I like how you're just like ready to go, but then you remembered what she said to her.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good idea. I'll call him on it. Lena Dunham.
She's not worth docking the point. I can just
She's worth docking at least 0.1.
I never imagined I would put Lena Dunham and Quentin Tarantino in the same sentence together.
I think that's maybe
Also,
that is like unnatural worlds colliding.
Yeah.
Also, lacked of the Manson. He wasn't in it at all.
That is a
only
very,
in it from afar.
But I
very
did like
good
that
point.
though. I thought it was like a more of like an
They
ominous,
talk about it
like
so
a feeling.
much.
Yeah, well, that's what the point. And they only show him like one time, and it's like even when they show him, he's just kind of like wandering.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. I like that it was like you never saw him, you just heard about him.
And they called
the
him
entire
Charlie
time.
too.
Yeah.
Because we've heard him as Charles Manson. Like no one's going around calling. You remember when Charlie Manson murdered those people? Like old Charlie.
Manson.
But it's like it definitely like I don't want to say humanized him, but like we got the sense of this like creepy Manson family.
Yes.
They were using those
Yeah.
nicknames and that sort of thing. So didn't humanize him, but you know what I mean.
Give it a 7.
Hey.
Yeah, I like the. I can't really think. I mean, like Lena Dunham was
Weird,
weird,
but forgettable.
Yeah, it was forgettable, and I didn't really like pay that much attention to it.
Yeah.
To her, but yeah, I just like really like this movie, and then like even the week since we saw it, like I still just keep thinking about it. I think it is a movie that I would want to see again.
Yeah,
same.
definitely. I feel
In
like you would
theaters.
see a lot more, and like it'd be one of those that was worth a rewatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like Be Cool.
What?
Does anyone?
B-movie sequel.
So everyone remember how bad Be Cool was?
I don't think I've ever seen that.
What is Be Cool?
Oh my gosh, it was like Uma Thurman. I'm gonna look this up.
Is it My Super Ex-Girlfriend?
What's that?
You guys remember My Super Ex-Girlfriend?
I remember the title.
No.
No.
Uma.
Uma.
Oh yeah, and then Uma Thurman's daughter was in this too. She was like the one.
Yeah.
What?
She was the
Who
one that
was
ran
she?
away.
Wait, what? Oh. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, she's the one that's in.
We talked about this because I kept getting confused. I kept confusing her with the girl from Booksmart for whatever
That scene
reason.
was weird. I was like, why did you include this?
Oh, also I realized that it wasn't Beanie Feldstein.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw like a close-up picture of her because I was looking for like the
And you're
photos
like-
for this episode,
Yeah.
and there's like a close-up of the girl and it wasn't her.
Oh.
I was kind of like disappointed. I wanted it to be her.
You wanted
whatever
it to be
small
Beanie
role.
so bad.
Yeah, I like her.
The beanie.
To come back to Be Cool.
Maybe we should do a
I think
podcast on this
the
next.
reason I thought of it was because it had John Travolta and Uma Thurman in it, which made me obviously think of Pulp Fiction. But it was total shit.
When did it come out?
2003.
Whoa. 2005.
Damn.
Not far off. Not far off.
Oh, I recognize. I've never seen it, but I recognize the cover photo of them like sitting in the chair together
Yeah.
for whatever
It's a
reason.
classic VHS.
It got 30% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And
that
good
seems
reviews.
generous.
3.5.
That means that like a third, almost a third of people liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, it's not bad.
Yeah, you know, it seems so harsh, and then you say it, and then you're like, who
sucks
was
even
the
more, yeah.
third that sat there and enjoyed that?
Okay, this is crazy that no one, like the 3 out of 4 of us don't know this movie because Dwayne The Rock Johnson's in it, John Travolta, Christina Milian,
Milana.
Uma Thurman, Vince Vaughn, Danny DeVito, and Cedric the Entertainer is in this movie.
R.I.P.
But it's like, it is, I could not tell you a single thing that happened in that movie, and I watched it.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah.
James Wood. Wow.
I thought the other Bernie Mac died.
Bernie Mac did die.
I think they both died.
Oh, God.
Cedric the Entertainer and Bernie Mac.
His name was Cedric the Entertainer?
Cedric the Entertainer is not dead.
Who's the one in Ocean's 11?
Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac. Okay.
Bernie
Mac's
Mac's
the one
dead.
that died.
Cedric the Entertainer not dead. Okay, I rescind that.
Pour one out for the one.
I
I said that twice because I got it wrong the first time.
We should watch Be Cool now. I really want to see it.
So again, I couldn't tell you a single thing that happened in it.
Okay, should we
Not
wrap
worth the rewatch.
Yeah, let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
Andrew's got to go. He's got big plans.
That was first watch, first listen of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and Margot Robbie. Directed and written by Quentin Tarantino.
Why did you read that?
When Andrew covers up his eyebrows with his hat, it's so creepy.
I thought you were laughing at him going, Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's a beautiful universe. Well, we never talked about how hot Margot Robbie is.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
She was like barely in it, too.
What?
Yeah.
Don't question
Wait,
her hotness.
are you?
No,
How dare you?
Were you snubbing her?
Yeah, don't snub Margot Robbie, you fuck.
Get him!
No, I mean, like,
Eyebrow
probably
lipstick.
wouldn't bother.
Go some eyebrows, you nerd.
Okay, sorry.
I've been your co-host, Pat. You can find me on Twitter at @KeyCombo. And I'm a co-host, Jerome, my twin brother and co-host. You can find me on social media. Why are you doing the intro bit?
Happy early birthday
Oh,
to
I've already
the
I've
Twin
already
Speaks
signed off.
boys.
It's too late.
I'm
at Anemone. Goodbye.
27 years ago, they were expelled from their mother's womb.
That's pretty
One
gross.
was. The other one was the test tube.
Came out
The third one was eaten in the womb.
What?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, okay.
Bye.
You didn't give us outros.
Yeah, you really
Excuse me.
fucking panicked.
Excuse me, I've been an
It's
absolute
been
goddamn
Georgia
pleasure.
What's yours? At Stacey, Georgia.
You want to say it with a question mark.
No, there's no question mark.
And Holly,
Holly.
at Bloomin' Rouge.
Oh my.
Any locals want their makeup done?
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.